Welcome to Lab 4, adding a web app to your ARM template. I'm an Azure administrator as well as an Azure solutions architect. In this lab, we will add to the web app, add a web app to the ARM template from scratch, edit the web app resource to customize settings, and create a web app from a template. Man, this sounds interesting. Okay, welcome back to another series, our ARM template series. And today we're going to add a web app to our service app service plan. And what I did before we got started was I copied my existing two templates, Azure deploy here, and I copied it down to here. Then I made a dotted line and I copied my parameters one as well, just in case I need to go backwards. But we're going to add the web app, and little caution here to add another resource. I'm going to highlight right here. That's where it ends. And generally speaking, when something ends, we want something new. We've got to put a parenthesis or a comma, and then we're going to start a new resource. So we'll go like this, hit enter, and we should be ready to go. That's a good sign. Type colon, and we get a nice drop down, another good sign. And we want Microsoft Web Sites. And let's scroll down to the W's. Look at all that stuff you can add. Microsoft Web Sites. There we go. Take a comma. We'll do API version. And we'll go with 2000. There we go. 2018 11.1 looks like the latest one. And comma. And we want a name. And it's gonna be, we're gonna do a parameter. So I'm just gonna take this one here and cheat a little bit. And notice I have error listing on. And of course that parameter is already being used. So we'll call this web app plan. Oh, that's a lot of P's. Web app. Let's call it web app name. How about that? And of course, it's telling us we're missing some properties, which is true. We're going to have to add that as a parameter up on top. And then we want location. Here, we're not going to hard code it. We're actually going to use here. And hit a comma. I don't think, nope, no comma here. And oh yes, we do want a comma, sorry. And we're going to add something called depends on, because we cannot create this website or web app until this plane is created. So we have to tell the code that. So there we go. And quote and a bracket and resource ID. And this is how we're going to identify the web app, the app plan is is by calling the resource ID function. And we want, there we go, Microsoft.web/server farms. And I just pulled that right here. This is where we're defining the app service plan. So if I highlight here, it highlights it. So I got server farms. That's where I pulled that from. And server farms. Let's put a comma there. And parameter, PARAMETRS. And I think we call the parameter app service plan. Thank you there, IntelliSense. Then we need to go one. There we go. One parenthesis, two parentheses. We got the bracket, and we should be good. It tells us we're missing a property called properties. And yes, we are. So let's continue with that. Trying to get my mouse over here. Properties. Bracket. Go with server farm ID. And this is going to be very much like this line up here. So let's just take that to, actually we need everything, don't we? Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and we want to add one more thing to properties here. Kind. And we're going to call it an app. Alright, so let's go ahead and define this parameter up here. Web app name. Type will be string. And default value will be speed web app. Alright, so if we come down here, that should be looking pretty good now. So no issues there. Alright, let's go ahead and save it and see if we validate. It is valid. that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and let's go check our what do we look like in Azure. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I don't have any resources created in Azure right now. You can see my speed RG is blank. So I'm going to go back to Visual Studio, try to get there with my mouse. I'm going to deploy. Parameters, and everything looks good. Got the name there, it's the only thing different, and deploy. Template was valid. Excellent. As we get into bigger templates, I probably won't show this much detail in the deployment, but the template is pretty small, shouldn't take long to create. So I think it's somewhat useful to see the status. And there'll be typos, errors, and I tend to leave those in because sometimes you learn the most fixing your errors. So I'll try to edit it out if I go on a wild goose chase. Just show you what I did. But for the most part, I leave that stuff in my labs on purpose for that reason. Hopefully most like that. Well, hopefully all like it. But as they say, oh, we failed. Oh, bummer. Let's see. Looking at the message, it's telling me my Microsoft Web Sites, which is the correct resource, Speed Web App, website with given name, Speed Web App already exists. But I don't see how that's possible currently. Website with given name already exists. Parameter Speed Web App. Conflict. Website with given name already exists. Gonna have to look around for that. I'm gonna try something crazy. And I'm gonna deploy again. And the parameters, I'm gonna call this Speed Web App 2. Save, and let's see what we get. Now, my thinking is I deployed this once before, testing before I did the lab, and I'm thinking maybe it's stored in cache somewhere. But let's see. Successfully deployed. So I think that was it. Let's see at our resources what we have. Speed RG. Do a refresh. No, we still don't have the web app unless it's just refusing to show up. Nope, there it goes. So yeah, so now we have it. I'm going to delete all these. Yes. I'm going to make sure there is not a resource. All resources. Not called Speed Web App. According to this, there is not, so that's good. Go back to our resource group, and it looks like those are all done. Go back to Visual Studio now. Go ahead and deploy, and make this back to Speed Web App. Say deploy. fails again, I'm going to wait an hour and then try it again. Looks like we got an exception there. Yes, this failed again. Yeah, conflict with speed web app already exists. So I think it sees the one I created earlier and is having a problem. So I'm gonna wait an hour and start the video back up. Okay, it's been about an hour. I'm gonna try it again. Okay, that's a little research. I think I found the issue. I went and searched on website with given name already exists. That took me to this article, and it's basically saying that to do an NS lookup on the website that you're looking for, because it has to be globally unique within Azure. So you can see I did that, and it does exist. So I cannot use this name. I first thought that it was just a resource within my subscription, but it looks like it makes sense. It's got to be global. So I'm going to run it now again with just speed web app 2, and should complete. So I'm going to check my Azure and make sure it is empty. Speed RG, nope, it's got resources, which is okay, but I'm going to delete them anyway. It'll run fine with those resources there. It will just see them and just skip over it. But let's say delete. Yes. All right, they're gone. Go over to Visual Studio. Gonna deploy. Change my runtime to web name of Speed Web App 2. I'm thinking we're going to have success, but I hate to jinx it. I'm a very superstitious person. Provision our app plan. It's definitely taking longer, so that's a good sign. All right, successfully deployed. That's just our endpoints. Little output there. So if we go check our resource group, there seems to be a delay with the web app showing up. There it is, and you can see it's running. And if we click here, we'll get a just a blank, not a blank site, but a default site. And there it is. Now that we have our 3 resources installed, let's take a look at the web app. And let's go to configuration. Let's do a little fine tuning. Perhaps when we deploy, we want to change some of these values to other than their defaults. So how would you go about that? Well, there's lots of different, well, not lots, but I can think of 3 different ways. One of the best ways, I think, is to refer to this link here. And it's a Microsoft link, as you can see. And it gives you a nice view of the templates. So what I did, I went to the site. And you can see they have for each resource category. And then I went to Web Sites. And then here I am. And you can see under Properties, there's lots of different things you can define. So let's see what we can do. And notice one thing we want to change is, let's go back to Azure and always on. We're going to make it's off now. We want to change it to on. And that looks like it's under here, under app settings. So let's see if we can find that using this method. All right, so let's go back where we are at properties. We're going to add something, so this becomes the last line. And you can see we got a few options here. Client Affinity enabled. If we look back at Azure, right now Affinity is on. Let's just for fun, let's say it's off. So true to enable, false to stop. There we go. False. All right, should we do one more? See what we get. Let's see what we got. Enable, what's that? The app is enabled, saying the false enables the app. Takes it offline. Let's not take it offline. Host name is disabled, host name SLS, HTTPS only. Configure object set only HTTP requests. And we want that to be true, I believe. We want to change it. So right now, HTTP HTTP version. No, how about under app settings? Has to be a setting. I've seen it before. WebSockets always on. How about under app config edit? No. Show values. How about here? There we go, yes. HTTPS only is off currently. So we're going to make that on. All right, so let's go ahead and save that. And let's run our deployment again. So now these two values should be changed. Right now they're currently, they haven't changed it already. This is off, it should be on when we get done. And our configuration, I believe we're turning off cookies or this setting. It's still, well, it's already turned off because it was on. Remember, it was off, off, on. That's deployed. So if we go back where we just were a second ago, see that's already off. If we go look at our HTTPS setting, and it's on. So success. But we wanted to do, one of the things we wanted to change, and we haven't yet, is for always on to be on. So let's see. If we come back here, what happens? Nope. What? So you're too far under, so we need a comma. Site config. I think we need to go under site config. Could be wrong. And we're going to go like this. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Got that always on. And we want that to be true, I believe, right? I should really write this stuff down. Always on is off, so we want it to be true. And there it is. So we'll save. And we'll deploy. And there we go. All right, success. Let's go check it. And always on. If we do a refresh, should now be on. Continue. And there it is. So, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Now let's just, I want to show you one more thing before I end this lab. Is, you know, we made this resource pretty much by scratch. We could have done it a different way. And let me show you by creating another template here. So I'm going to go over to here and say add new item. And I want to I don't want a parameters file. I want a template. So I'm just going to change this name to web example. That gave me a brand new template. And if I go to resources here, and what I want to show you is a different way to add this resource. We basically typed it all out. We could have gone here, add new resource, and then not all the resources are here in Azure. But I could go down and find web app. And then here, select from subscription. It's going to ask me what app plan do I associate this with. I can create a new one from our template or from subscription. I'm going to say from subscription, and that's the right one. I'm going to call it Speed Web App 5. Say add, and there it is. So I could now just copy this over to this template and have all this done for me. Or I could have actually just gone here and added it as well. So I could have came to this template, say add new resource, chose this, and it would add it to the template. I don't ever do anything like that. I always put in a sample one if I just want to get a started template, and then I copy over. So lots of different ways. Just wanted to introduce you to that, and so you can work the way works best for you. So this ends this series in our ARM template lab. And hope as you build through these templates, you're getting more and more confidence to build your own. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lab.